Well, welcome everyone to Love vs. Hate. My name is Anne, and I'm your old-fashioned nerd.
And I'm Emily, your mainstream millennial.
And on this podcast, Emily and I like to debate, and we like to argue about all the things in life that we love and that we hate.
And we try to find some common ground, but sometimes it gets a little hard.
Yeah, and I think we are not going to... Well, actually, no. There are a couple areas where I think we're going to find common ground today, because we're going to be talking about nerd and millennial events. So this episode, we are giving you guys ideas. If you want to go now that COVID is getting close to being done, hopefully soon, fingers crossed, events are going to be opening back up. What should you guys be going to see? What should you start planning for? Mm-hmm. We're going to give you some tips.
Yeah, it's going to be lit. Okay, so what should we start with?
I think we should start with the most obvious nerd event out there. It's just so obviously the biggest thing ever. So we should just start with the biggest thing ever. That is the biggest nerd thing that is out there.
Okay.
I'm talking about conventions.
Comic-Con?
Comic-Con is the biggest, but there are lots of other cons, but yes.
Avatar-on?
I mean, like, literally any nerdum kind of out there, and there's a different con for it. Like, there's
Airbender
Star Trek
con?
Probably. There's Star Trek cons, for sure. There's also anime conventions.
You can't see, but I'm like, ugh.
I know. It's funny because our listeners still can't see. They only heard. You didn't really describe what you did. You just made a noise.
I just, puked, you know.
But yes, conventions and cosplay. That is like the quintessential nerd, like cosplaying and going to a convention. I have been to some conventions, and I will say they are very fun. Sometimes they can get a little much for me because there's just like a lot going on. There's a lot of events. There's a lot of speakers. There's a lot of things to do. And so it can get a little overwhelming for me. I'm a little bit of I'm a little old fashioned, and then that I get like a little overwhelmed. I'm like, I'm a little more introverted. But I will say they are very fun. And I love seeing like the costumes, not only like in person, but even online. Like I'll watch people who make different costumes, and it's just incredible how talented their people are at making cosplay. It's just mind blowing to me. There are some people out there who it's just like, it's so phenomenal, and I'm so impressed by their talent.
So what do you do at these conventions, you say?
There's a lot of different things you can do. A lot of conventions have like multiple outlets. So one of the big ones is like you can shop. Like a lot of artists and vendors will put up stuff, and you can buy a lot of merchandise. You can buy a lot of fan art, that kind of thing. Another big one is you like go to different like speakers. Like they'll bring people in. A lot of times it's like voice actors or actors just in general, or YouTubers, or like people in the nerd community who like are famous. They'll bring them in, and they'll do talks, and you can like ask questions, and you can just sit and like listen to them live. So that's a really popular thing. They'll also do concerts. There's also like a lot of times they'll have different gaming events. Like you can go and either watch live streams, or a lot of times they'll have like, just like rooms open where you can just come and game. So there's a bunch of different things. They do different contests. Like they do have costume contests. There's a lot of like pictures, but a lot of it too is you just walk around and you just kind of look at all the different costumes, and you get to just connect with nerds, because like you'll see people in costume, and it's kind of fun because like people will get really into it, and like depending on what costume you're wearing, they'll like either pose with you, like you know how the characters do, or sometimes like they'll get all of the people who are like in Attack on Titan or FMA, or like people, because there's a lot of people who will dress as the same characters. So they'll like do a call where it's like, if you're cosplaying in this show, they'll get everybody together and they'll do like a big photo of everyone. So like there's just a bunch of different stuff that happens.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're fun. They are fun. But like I said, it can be a little overwhelming.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like the state fair to me. Like when there's like, have you ever been to the state fair?
I mean, I've been to a state fair. Yeah.
They have like a big convention building, and there's like all these different booths with all these different people. Mm-hmm. And they're like, try this salsa, watch this demo, do this, get a demo of this, put this in your hair, try this, blah, 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 buy this. And I'm like, yo, I only have $20.
Well, that's different at cons. Like, yeah, there's the vendors and stuff, but like they're not really like, half of it is just you want to look at what people are offering. Like you don't, at least for me, I'm kind of a cheapskate. Like I don't always buy a ton of stuff, but like I just love to even see like what they have to offer. And there's a lot of like steampunk. There's also people who will like sell stuff for like cosplay. Mm-hmm. So there's like a whole bunch of different options. But the one time I went to a con, I did dress up. I didn't like, it was a very last minute thing, so I had to kind of throw a costume together, and it wasn't super like, it was like as old-fashioned nerd as I probably could have gotten, because I dressed as number 2 from The Prisoner, which is a 60s British TV show.
Oh yeah, I remember the photo that you
I showed you a photo. I can put it on our Instagram as well. I had one goal. I was like, I just want one person to recognize me. Because again, this is a really old-fashioned thing. But I'm like, I bet you, though, if anyone's going to recognize me, it'll be somebody at a convention. Mm-hmm. And there were 2. I got 2 people who recognized me. And both of them were so excited because they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea like other people watched that show. And they were both a little bit older. So to see me as like a young person, they were probably even that more excited because they're like, what? Young people watch this show? So that was really cool. I got a picture with both of them because I was like, if anybody recognizes me, I'm going to get a picture with them. So I did that. And yeah, it was fun.
Cute. Oh my gosh, sounds like stranger danger. Have the McElroys ever been at these conventions?
Yes. Well, okay, so that leads me actually into, well, we can go into some of your millennial events, I guess.
Well, let me talk about conventions for millennials.
Ooh, okay.
So there are none.
Okay. You totally had me there. I was like completely convinced. I was like, oh, there are?
No, none that I know of.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I mean, actually, just kidding. At one point, they probably got rid of this, but there was a beauty con.
Ugh.
And it was all just like makeup.
Yeah, I'm out.
I don't know if it's a thing anymore, but it was a thing.
Yeah, I'm out. I would never go to that. I don't wear makeup, so yeah. I would gain no value in that whatsoever.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. I would be like, every booth would be like the same. Yeah. They would be selling the same thing. It's just like a different, brand, whatever.
Yeah. But yes, the McElroys have been at cons before. Absolutely. They also they just do their own tours as well. Like they'll go and, just do like a live show, which I actually think is a common ground for us, is because there are millennial podcasts who will do the same thing. Well, they'll tour and you can go listen to them live. Yes. So that is definitely another nerd thing, is going and listening to podcasters do a live show. Mm-hmm. Oh, I got to listen to the Memory Palace actually live in Minneapolis. Oh, it was so fun. I loved it. It was really cool. I don't know what that is. It's a podcast. It's about history. It's really good. I highly recommend. Okay, your turn, Emily. What's a millennial event?
Well, sporting events, millennials go to a lot, even if they don't even care about sports. I remember in college, a lot of times I would just go to the sporting events because I had to work them. But all of the football games you would always go to because it's just the cool thing to do that everybody does. Funny story, I think it was sophomore year of college. We were all going to the football game. And everyone was like, it's going to be a blackout football game. And I was like, cool, I'll get all my black clothing. And then I get, everybody comes. And I'm like, guys, where's all your black? I thought this was a blackout. And they're like, Emily, a blackout, meaning you drink so much that you forget. And I was like, oh.
It's funny because I literally was waiting with bated breath, what does it mean?
Because, I remember in high school, we would have, whiteouts, where everybody wears all white clothing so that the other team is like, whoa, they're wearing all white.
Oh, and then you, psych them out.
Yeah. And so I was like, yeah, we're going to psych them out. We're going to black out. And then I was like, oh, nobody else is wearing black except for me.
That's hilarious. I would have totally been in the same boat as you. You would have come up to me and been like, oh, Anne, they're doing a blackout. Let's go. And I'd be like, oh, let me get my black pants and my black shirt.
Yeah, that's literally what I did. Luckily, I had a black hat that had the logo of my school on it, so at least I was wearing something color.
You didn't just look like a emo for the day.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, sporting events are definitely, I would say, a millennial thing that everybody, even if you don't like sports, you just go with a big group of people.
Yeah, and I think there's certainly sport nerds out there, but in general,
Connor.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Connor.
Connor.
We have a sports episode. It was actually kind of an earlier one.
Yeah,
where
I think
we
it was
featured
the first season or second season, maybe.
Yeah, we featured Connor Moore. Highly recommend. Very funny, super great guy. So definitely listen to that episode if you want to learn about Emily and I's opinion on sports. I think we can't be talking about like nerd events without talking about the Renaissance fairs. Like that is a massive nerd.
I totally forgot about those things. Well, I've never been to one. I read a book about Renaissance fairs though, and I kind of liked it.
Okay, so my sister-in-law is a huge Ren fair. Like she's been doing it for years, and she's like part of the court, and she's like made like super elaborate dresses for herself. Like she's 100% into it. And I just love like hearing her side of it because I would go to Ren fairs. I've been to a couple, and they're really fun. I really do like them, especially because they're outside, and so like you get to kind of like experience the outdoors a little bit, and there's different events that happen, and they put on plays, and like it can be really fun. But like getting to hear her side too of like actually being part of the cast is really kind of cool as well, and she really loves it. So we kind of nerd over that together, and that's always fun. And she's really talented at like actually making the costumes. It's like incredible. So yeah, I definitely have a lot of respect for like people who actually are the cast in Ren fairs because like they do a lot of work for it, and it's like usually volunteer. Very rarely do they actually get paid for it. But yeah, that's also really fun. And it's kind of similar to conventions and like you can buy stuff. There's a lot of food. But it's just like a fun environment and you get to be outside. And yeah, I always enjoyed Ren fairs.
Yeah. Speaking of fairs, I have fairs down, just like county fairs or state fairs. They're just like fun things to do with like a group of friends just going there for the day and hanging out. There's usually live music. You can just chill, listen to some music, eat some fried food, and just walk around.
Yeah. I've
always liked doing that.
Yeah, those are fun.
And I like the free ones the most.
Yeah, and they have different rides you can do.
Oh, no. I don't like the rides. I don't trust those things.
I'm actually in the exact same boat. We are definitely 100% on the same literal ground. Like, I'm not leaving the ground. I'm not going on those machines that are going to collapse and kill me.
I'm not even going to go on a merry-go-round.
Yeah, no. I'm definitely on the same page there. The one exception, I did go on a Ferris wheel.
No. I don't think, I can't remember, but I don't think I've ever been on a Ferris wheel because I really hate heights.
Yeah.
And like, I just feel like it's so easy for you to fall out. Like, what if it tips and falls? You're dead. You're dead.
I mean, it won't, but I get it.
But it could.
It could. I know. I'm in the same boat. I get it. I understand you completely.
Yeah, I don't trust those things at all. I don't trust them.
Yeah, that's right.
Never. Ever.
Speaking of other kind of like events outside and stuff, I can't, again, this is just another quintessential nerd thing, but I will say this is one I have never done. I have never done this, but LARP.
What?
LARP? Live action role play.
Oh, okay.
There are events where like people will come and they'll dress up and they play, like they basically play out a whole scene and they'll have like weapons, like they're obviously like fake, but like they'll do big battles and like they'll live action role play like in a park and stuff like that. Again, never done it, have never seen it, but that is definitely a nerd event and we can't talk about nerd events without talking about LARP.
That would be so strange if I was just like taking a walk and I was walking by a park and I'd be like, what the heck is going on over there? Like, these people have swords.
Yeah.
Should I be calling the police?
Yeah, I know, right? And I do think like it's one of those things where like I'd have to try it to know if I would actually like it or not. Because again, I am kind of introverted. Mm-hmm. And so a part of me is like, I don't know. If I had the right group of friends that I was with, I would totally be into it. But if I was just like me and a couple other people and there was like a whole bunch of strangers, I don't know how into it I could get. I might be a little weird.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it, But I do love when we had recess in school. Did you ever play that Red Rover game?
Yeah.
That just reminds me of it.
Okay.
But it's nothing like that. I'm imagining.
It is completely different.
But when they were like, Red Rover, send Emily over, whatever the heck you say, I'd be like, oh, they better watch out, I'm coming. And then I'd be like, whoa, and I would like never make it through.
I know. I was a very slow runner. I never got far in those tag games.
Ugh. Okay, so obviously, we can't talk about millennial events without talking about concerts.
Yeah,
especially like music festivals, I feel like are so millennial.
Very.
I've never been to one, but
not the Milwaukee one? The Milwaukee's like one of the biggest in the nation.
No, I haven't.
What? I am shocked.
Well, I was gonna go to the one in 2020 or whatever? I don't even remember years anymore.
But then COVID.
And then COVID freaking ruined that. I was going to go see Halsey. Actually, I think I wasn't. Because my friend was like, do you want to see Halsey? And I was like, no. Never mind.
That was a beautiful story. I was going to do something. And then actually, no, I decided I didn't want to do that thing.
I think I was like, kind of like, I didn't have very much money to buy the tickets. So I was like, I can't. But I want to. But anyways, concerts. Yeah, I love going to concerts. I feel like it's such a millennial thing to just get a group of friends together, go to a concert, drive in your car, blast in the music, and then you get there and you're like, screaming your freaking head off, hating the people in front of you because they're in front of you, you know.
Yeah, that is something I do not share. I do think there are nerds who like to go to nerd concerts. I get that, but I'm old-fashioned. I don't want that. I don't want the crowds. I don't want the screaming. I don't want the put me in front of my orchestra, like quiet, like old people concerts, and I'm there.
Yeah. Okay.
But if it's like modern, I'm out.
We have this thing in our town called Concerts on the Square, and it's super cool. And I feel like the audience is like everyone.
Yeah, it's much more like family friendly. Yeah, and it's like
it's definitely like classical music most of the time. Sometimes they'll play some more modern takes, but definitely like I've gone to that with all my millennial friends, and we just like to hang out. We don't really like pay attention to the music that much, but it's just like a nice background music.
I will say,
and you play games or just chat.
There is something to be said to have like at a live music. There's something really special about that. Like hearing actual instruments in real time in a space. There's just something really beautiful about that. And even if like it's kind of like you were saying in the background a little bit, it's still just so nice. It just gives you this like really satisfied feeling that only live music can really bring. So I do get that. And like I definitely, that's also totally a nerd thing would be to just like go and sit to that. Listen to that.
The other thing for concerts is Coachella. I've never been, obviously, because it's in California and it's super expensive. But that's like the music festival of life. And literally, like everyone who goes there, it's mainly about the fashion, I feel like. Like everyone just like dresses really weird. Or not weird, but they dress a certain way. And then like there's just so many really popular artists there. So I'm just here at my own Coachella, you know.
I don't really know what those are, so I have nothing to add to that. Another huge nerd event, which is kind of a convention in itself, but it's different than like a Comic-Con or an anime convention or like a nerd convention, is E3. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Okay. E3 is the largest like gaming convention in the US. Like it is like where they announce all the new games and they like announce new consoles coming out, and it's like a big like they just announce all this stuff coming out and you can go but you have to like buy a ticket and it's kind of expensive. But it's just like a giant gaming convention basically, and they like talk about games. Although I heard in recent years it's kind of gotten like less popular, probably because it's really expensive. I've never gone, and again, I'm not, if you didn't know this about me, again, still old-fashioned. Yes, I love video games, but I'm not a video game nerd. I will never claim to be. I know enough to speak to video game nerds because I play enough that I like know, but I'm not like super into it. But I just wanted to mention it for all the video game nerds out there. Yes, I'm aware of what E3 is. I get it. And for you guys, I know it's a super exciting thing. For me, I'm just kind of like,
Okay, I have to talk to you about this really awesome, I don't know if it's really like a millennial event, but yeah, it's a millennial event. I'm saying it's a millennial event. And that is the Parade of Homes.
That is totally a millennial event. Yes.
It's so awesome. I don't know why, but I went when I was like a young teenager. I don't know why I did. I went with my babysitter and like all of us. We were just like going for fun. And it's just so fun to walk around all these fancy houses and see all this cool stuff. It's amazing. And like, am I gonna buy those houses? No. But am I gonna look at them? Yes. It's like going to 30 open houses in a week. It's so fun with no expectation to buy.
Yeah, you just get to see what other people are living like.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yo, There's a house with a basketball court in the basement?
What?
That's crazy. Okay.
Okay.
The only thing is you have to pay like $30 to like see all the houses, but
It's worth it.
You get a coupon on the back, so for like $5 off something.
Hey, worth it.
Worth it.
Worth every penny. Another quintessential nerd event that we just have to talk about is tournaments. There are so many different
Soccer
types.
tournaments?
No. But similar in that they are competition. So there's just like all across the board, like anything nerd, there's a tournament for. Like there is like, obviously you could get into like chess and that kind of like very old fashioned nerd stuff. But there's also, I know, but there's also like, also I just want a quick side note, pros to the Queen's Gambit for making chess super interesting and like a match of chess, like something that's like got me on the edge of my seat. Anyway, it's
Never
like
seen it, but...
Oh, you would probably like it. Actually, I don't know. I'm so bad at judging what you like. Anyway, so different tournaments. So there's like different, obviously there's different like gaming tournaments, like video game tournaments. They'll do like, you know, WoW tournaments. There's also like different live streams that they'll do. Like they'll bring in famous like YouTubers and live streamers and they'll just do it like live at these different tournaments. And it's like kind of crazy. They also do like Magic the Gathering tournaments and Yu-Gi-Oh! Like all of that kind of stuff. There's always like some kind of nerd like tournament out there. I haven't really gone to a whole lot, but I know a lot of like my friends who have like gone to them and stuff, and they always like, and a lot of times they'll live stream it or broadcast it in some way so you can watch like the pros doing it, and it's like crazy.
That just like is like weird concept for me to understand. Like watching somebody watch a screen. I don't know. It's just weird.
Well, what do you watch when you're watching football or soccer or tennis? You're just watching people on a screen play a game and they're professionals. It's the same thing.
But you're watching a person watch a screen?
Well, you're watching their screen. So you're seeing their characters. Like if for example, they're doing Fortnite, you're watching their Fortnite characters run and shoot people and like build their forts.
Do you see the person too? Who's
yeah,
playing?
Usually, but they're just like, you know, they're just sitting there. I don't know. I've never been to one, Emily.
Gosh.
But all I know is that people like go nuts for it. Like people like you get a lot of viewership too, like who will like tune into these things because they want to watch the pros play. And they are literally professionals. It's insane.
I know.
It's crazy.
I'm pretty sure
scary.
Alex was like watching a stream of it or something. He was watching like these pros play like some computer game or video. I don't know.
Probably
something.
WoW.
And I was like, what are you watching? And he's like, these people are pros. This is all they do. They just play this game all the time.
Yes.
And I'm like, don't their thumbs hurt? I can barely play for 30 minutes. I just
they build
don't
up muscles in their thumb. It's all muscle.
Maybe it's because I snapped the ligaments in my thumb, so it's weaker. That's what I'm going to tell myself now.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So my last event that I have is the farmer's market. Such a fun place to be. I miss the farmer's market.
I miss the farmer's market.
Even though normally I don't really buy anything. It's just fun to walk around and be like, oh, look at all these people with fresh food that I'm not going to buy.
That's such a common millennial thing. Let's go somewhere and walk around but not buy anything.
Yes!
But yes, no, and in our hometown in Wisconsin, in Madison, they have the farmer's market on our Capitol Square. And so you just walk like the square and it's so fun.
Yes.
I do agree. Farmers markets are fun. They are definitely more of a like millennial thing, I would say. Well, I mean, they're also like farmers markets have been around for literally forever. So they're like a
literally forever. When dinosaurs roamed, they had farmers markets. They were like tree stars, selling tree stars.
Over here, get your grass. We have 3 different types. Do you need a bucket of water fresh from the river? For my last event, there are D&D meetups. Like those are a thing.
Meetups?
Yeah, like
that sounds dangerous.
It's like, it's kind of like you basically just like, I mean, there's different ways you can do it. You can bring your own group and you just like all play together. Or I have also seen where, yeah, you like, they'll just bring like a bunch of DMs together and like people will come and then they'll just like put a group together. And I also know there's like different D&D clubs and there's definitely, I'm just saying, D&D is definitely an option out there. And if you want to play, but you don't necessarily have a group, there are options.
I think we need to get into life lessons. And
okay.
Mine is to, if you're going to any of these nerd events, bring some pepper spray because you never know what kind of creepers are going to be there trying to like pull you away.
I mean, I think that's a life lesson for any event that you're going to. Be safe, be weird, be rude, stay alive, you know.
Yes. Courtesy of Crime Junkie.
Yes. Which we both do love. We did both listen to.
Yes. Like if they had a live show coming near us, we would
go.
We are going.
Oh, yes. 100. Oh, that would be amazing. We should start
that is
planning
our
that.
Nerd Millennial event.
Actually, you know what? That's my life lesson. That leads me to my life lesson. I highly encourage you to actually go to one of these events, whether it's like, and I know sometimes paying for tickets can be hard. So then, you know, go to ones that are free where you can just like walk around. But they are really fun, and find a friend, find a group of people. You got to enjoy these different types of events.
Preferably people you know, not just random people.
Yeah, in general.
But if you have random people, just get your pepper spray ready.
Yeah. And I know it's COVID, but COVID's almost over. And yeah, we just encourage you, take a look, you know, online, look up what events are coming near you. And honestly, like plan them out. Because a lot of times, this is what happens to me. This is a life lesson for myself. Is like, I want to go to an event or something. And then I look and I'm like, oh, that looks so fun. Oh, it happened last week. Dang it.
Yes. Like literally.
Plan ahead.
Last weekend, my friends and I wrote a list of things that we want to do this summer. And there's like 20, 30 things on the list. And I'm like, okay, we have a list, but we don't have anything planned. So like summer's going to be over and we're going to be like, oh, what happened to our list?
Exactly.
We got 2 things done unintentionally.
Yes.
So yeah, plan it out, schedule in advance because things come up.
And plan your protection, whether it's pepper spray or, you know, your keys.
Or condoms. I just had to say it because you said protection.